How's it going?
Hi, Ran. Nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks for coming. Really appreciate it. You're my first guest, so
Yeah,
it's an honor.
that's cool. It's an honor for me too.
Cool. So I will start and say that I know Amit from like about 10 years ago. We worked together in a broadcast, in a big broadcast studio.
Yeah,
Amit was like managing the whole IT there, the whole technical side. And he helped me a lot, and we became kind of friends. And but since then, I mean, I've been following you online, and I see you took some twists and turns in your career. So just tell us a little bit about your like professional history, whatever you want to share.
okay. Thank you. So yeah, I'm kind of a weird creature in LinkedIn land right now because I'm a creative. I'm a musician and a graphic designer. I do some t-shirt design for my own brand that's called Like Me Shirts. And also, I've been very into the deeply invested in technology, DevOps, cloud, all things that are technology related to media creation and media post production. As you said, we met. It was the start of my technical career at Meimad, where we had a post-production facility, and I was managing the IT there. And since then, yeah, a lot of things came over, and now we're here in the here and now of generative AI, which is mind blowing right now.
So, what is your main business currently?
Currently, I'm what you call in between jobs. I'm doing some freelance work, doing some content writing on technical stuff, and do making my music, producing my music, and for other people, and generally doing mostly creative work right now. And I'm developing a couple of tools using AI to help independent musicians and artists to reach more audiences easily and go through the motions of all of the administrative side. I'm trying to solve some of those problems for independent artists.
Cool. That sounds very interesting. We'll get more deeply into it in the next questions. Uh, but I wanted to ask you, like, how did you first become interested with generative art in general, with AI? How did you see, like, where did it meet you?
Well, I think it met me for the first time quite a while back ago. I use Logic, software called Logic for music creation, music production, and I think that's where I first met AI in its generative form. They have a feature called Drummer, and the Drummer samples or maybe study the model of many different types of drummers, and it can generate instantly a drum track according to whatever's being played on the other tracks. You can either program it to your own taste, or you can have it follow the one of the musical instruments in your track. That was my first glimpse to generative AI a couple of years ago, and then we fast forward a couple of years later, about I think 7 or 8 months ago, while I was doing my nightly research, internet research, and browsing. I got to an article about GPT-3. uh, before there was the Chat GPT, and it was in the context of I was trying to scale up my content writing, and then I found there was this tool called GPT-3, which is a language model that can generate almost instantly full-blown blog articles on any topic you wish. Very persuasive, very well written, and it was that was like my first aha moment. Wait, I can do something with this. It can become something other than just writing the blog posts or whatever. It's really helpful. And then after that, after a while, came Dali and Midjourney. I'm a big follower of. There's this guy called Chris Doe. He has a company called The Future. They teach business for artists or for creatives, and also graphic design and typography and very cool stuff. And he immediately showed how, just days after Midjourney got out, he started to demonstrate real world uses of how you can generate an image using a text prompt and use it in your presentation, in your whatever you need right now. And it was so good, and it was coming from someone who's a very, very talented graphic designer, which I appreciate very much. And he wasn't afraid of it, that it will take his place. He sparked that imagination in me that I could see what can be done with Midjourney and other generative art forms. But I have to say that it's really interesting how the two sides of are viewing or relating to generative art. It's either they use it as a total destruction of the creation of the creative force, and another part looks at it as a tool for creativity. I'm on that side of it's a tool for creativity. I never found other than a few direct use cases that you can take the output image and use it. Most of the time it's unusable for professional uses or for mass production or for for big time stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But don't you find it sometimes like intimidating, like it's going to steal your future job in a sense? Like I see that now you can even generate music automatically. So maybe now it sounds shitty, but imagine it in like 5-10 years. It's
yeah. I think
or music production. Sorry.
Yeah. For sure, it will take jobs, okay? Because whoever's in this industry of the creative business, and he's not very, I won't say talented, but I'll say very innovative, or because talent for for drawing, it's a technical, it's very technical. On one hand, you can really learn how to draw perfectly without any creative imagination. You can just draw, and you can draw fantastic stuff without any technical skills, as you can see in many outsider arts, both in music and in visual arts. So yes, it will take some people who went to the academy and studied very hard and went through all the motions of becoming a visual artist, and it will take some of their jobs, but it will not replace their creative spirit. So the creative spirit and the power of creation is found in everyone, but not in the machine. The machine doesn't want to create anything, so it's only does what you tell her. If you tell her good, it will do something good. If you don't know how to use it, then you'll have a lot of photos, pictures of monkeys smoking joints in space. That's the technology will be there. It's the same as happened with music. and the recording studios. Once, 20, 30 years ago, the holy place and the only way to get your music out was go to a recording studio professionally and pay the money, record your music, go to a label. And once, the technology became more available and cheaper, people got their home studios and got a lot more music out. Some of it is really bad and probably would not have been recorded 30 or 40 years ago professionally, but some of it is really good and amazing and would not have been recorded 30 or 40 years ago, respectively. So I think it's only a tool that will help us gain more. The robot can be spotted. You can, even today, if you read a blog article, you can in 5 minutes, if you know a bit about the topic you're reading about, if this is if this is a bullshit article, if it was generated by a machine, and you can really see it. And if not, you can feel it. You can feel the humanity behind the creation.
Definitely, I agree. I also think that I super agree with what you say, and I think that like maybe our last advantage over the machines is that we have imagination. Machines cannot imagine. You can tell them to imagine, but eventually they don't imagine. They just analyze previous data and create from that. So I think that forever we will have this edge over machines, but still they keep improving. So, there's this theory of singularity, that like eventually it's sci-fi, but it says that eventually machines will realize that we are redundant and they will get rid of us because we only create problems, Maybe imagination is not needed in the world,
Maybe, but imagination is the machine, because it's your mind's machine. Because when you imagine, you think about all of your experience and your knowledge, and you combine them together in an unconscious way, and then that's your imagination. You can't imagine anything without any knowledge. So the first thing to imagine anything is to have knowledge. So the machines have the knowledge. We can connect it emotionally. They can do it. They can imagine the text and realize it to life in a visual form, but they can't place your emotion. They don't know why you want to combine, the visual of Andy Warhol pop out with pickles, or with your favorite chocolate pudding, because they don't know how you feel about it, but and that's what makes the impact at people. And another thing that I have to say is that I've been working mainly with Midjourney, and when you don't instruct it very specifically on how you want it to turn out, it has its own taste. It uses roughly the same color palettes. It uses a lot of the same imagery, like let's say a nighttime in city in New York, or something like that. You would almost every time get an image of an old lady from the back carrying some baskets or holding an umbrella. So it's not really that smart like everybody thinks. People put their trust way too much in what it can produce, and without any skills on what you do with the output, it's not really usable for anything other than entertainment.
Yes, I agree. Also, I think it's I'm using Stable Diffusion a lot. I don't know if you got to play with it, but I mean, the main difference from my perspective is that Stable Diffusion is like a workhorse, It's like it's super stupid in a way, because it doesn't have this huge database of... you can actually work with it offline, because you download models that either were created for Stable Diffusion, like 1.5 or 2.1, and then there are models that people create. but it's not so vast and like hand-picked styles like Midjourney does. So if you write to, for example, if you write to Midjourney gibberish, total gibberish, you will still get something beautiful. But if you write total gibberish to Stable Diffusion, you will get noise, you know?
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, this is the difference there. If you like really are super specific with your prompt and your style, you will get something totally different. And also another advantage is that when you use image to image, like when you input an image and the prompt, you get really crazy stuff in Stable Diffusion. So yeah, it's interesting, like different approaches also in different render engines. For example, DALL-E, when it came out, it kind of exploded, and now it's like really almost nobody is
What
sharing
he's
even
talking
art
about.
from it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the output is not as good. It's not as artistic as Midjourney, and it's not as controllable as Stable Diffusion. And I
Definitely.
think that's what's the main reason people don't use it. I tried using it, I didn't like it. And Midjourney, I think what I liked most about it is the prompt through the Discord app. And then, you know, when I walk, that's amazing stuff. Okay, that's the part I really love about it. I walk in the street, and I have an idea, and then I can have my idea without, you know, I would have to go to, you know, search for images and then compose them in Photoshop and then try to make something and then fight with it for hours until I get it right. And here, like in 10 minutes, I have the basic concept, exactly what I wanted in my mind. Sometimes better, sometimes something that I didn't even think about, and while walking the street. So I think that's like a game changer from that perspective. But as I said before, after you have that, if you want to take it a step forward, like I saw the videos you do, which are amazing. The AI, I really love them, and it baffles me. Like I don't have After Effects skills, or you know, I never got into that. So to see someone taking a bunch of images and make them sequential and work, and then that takes a lot of effort and imagination and ingenuity, and you can't do it. You know, I'm sure that some out there is working, and I have seen already kind of animation generators from text prompts. It would take some time until it would get to really usable stuff, but a person needs to connect the dots, to have the skills to make a thing out of it. It's like raw material.
Yeah. I think about animation. I am actually lately I'm doing lots of animations with the Diffusion, which is a part of Stable Diffusion, and I think it's once you realize you have like maybe 20% control over it, which is kind of freeing in a way, because you know that like I talked to this guy, Jonathan Dor. He has this company called the Dor Brothers. He's producing tons of video clips for people. Super nice
He
guy.
did Shabak Samech, no?
Really? I don't know. I saw like he does like he did like over 100 clips. I didn't see all of them, but really nice stuff. But and I told him, how do you deal with the brief? Because how can you, if somebody comes with a specific something that he wants, it's almost impossible to do it, you know? So he told me that the clients that come to him, they realize that they cannot come with a brief. They can come with an idea, but they come to him because they like the result that's AI flavored, you know?
Yeah.
So the forum in this sense is amazing, because you start from something, and you like you can start from an image as an anchor, and you can add prompts to it, but you never really know where it takes you. And but I'm always pleased with the result, kind of, you know. It's like tripping, you know. You never know what you're going to see, but
you never know what's coming. It's probably all set and setting.
Definitely. But, the advantage is that you can stop it whenever you want. You
Yeah,
control it, and it doesn't
exactly.
control you.
And what about the fact that you can't repeat something? Like, let's say you got a really cool image or character or even some kind of shape. Now you want that to be reproduced with the machine,
Mm-hmm.
but not to be augmented or adjusted or changed. I find that really hard with the tools that are not paid or
Mm-hmm.
really trained specifically for that purpose. And even in the future, I think about, if you want to do a concept art that's repeating for something that's repeating, like let's say it's a movie franchise, and you have the first movie, then it goes well. You need the second movie.
Mm-hmm.
How can you use exactly the same images, or make it without using an artist? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
without, because you can take whatever gets out, repaint it in a vector form, and I'm sure that's one of my projects now. Is I'm looking for a way to vectorize the output from the images, at least
Mm-hmm.
some of it, layer it, or because I released a music single recently, a couple of months ago, and for the cover art, I used Midjourney. The cover art is Midjourney as is. I didn't have to do the output was incredible as is. I just added, the text and everything. But then I wanted I wanted to have it animated,
Mm-hmm.
and I gave it to someone over at Fiverr to animate it, but they had to redraw. It took like 4 or 5 days to get it animated, because to cut up everything and redraw and keep the original texture of the image and the look and the feel. It took some time,
Mm-hmm.
and the animation was pretty simple. It's just like a bird flying in the background, nothing really complex, but to make it to process it took much longer than to generate the original
Mm-hmm.
and have the cover done. It took like 5 minutes. Um, so I think that's missing right now. The repetitive or something to make it a tool that you can use constantly.
I think, first of all, there are ways to reuse stuff that you liked in a prompt. You can use seeds,
Yeah,
seeds. You can use seeds, and you can use, like if you use, for example, I think it works both in Midjourney and in Stable Diffusion. If for example, you upload an image, okay? You upload an image of yourself and you add to it the name, say Amit Adar with a backslash. So then Midjourney knows that the combination of the URL and the unique phrase Amit Adar backslash is this image. So from then on, if you remix this image using both the URL and the unique word, you will still get the image. I mean, you will still see the link between the previous image and the next images. It won't be like out of the blue something new. It won't be
yeah,
100%. But you can
accurate.
keep, if
Yeah,
you created a character, you can keep its characteristics. You can keep its general look. And I think that in next iterations, I'm sure that it will be even better, and you will have also option to vectorize stuff and to output, like if, for example, today you can output like 1500 by 1500 pixels. Like in the next month, when V5 will come out, you will probably be able to output 8K by 8K. It's
yeah,
the progress of things is crazy fast, and now they're also doing like text to 3D models, and
yeah. I saw
it's
it. It's
super
crazy.
evolving.
Yeah,
So and also about what you said. About creating a clip, maybe do you want to share this image for a second? Do you have it like?
yeah, yeah. Just a second.
Nice. So, but what this is what you wanted to achieve, like very subtle.
Yes. It was the purpose was to have like a short moving animation for Spotify Canvas or for YouTube, or as the base for a lyrics video. And I think artistically I wanted to since I already had an image, like a drawn image, a graphic image, I think it was important to keep the same language for other assets that I produce for that single. So now I'm trying to I'm doing a test to see how can if it works well in printing on a poster. It's supposed to arrive in the next couple of days. Hopefully, see if it prints out well and not very, pixelized. Then I have another product for my music. I can make posters, stickers, whatever, from the same thing.
The amazing tools also that are also based on AI that blow up the image really nice without pixelating it. Say, for example, if I take your image.
The upscalers.
You know them?
Yeah, I know the one. I think Adobe has a free version one in Adobe Express or something like that.
There is I will show you. It's really amazing if you allow me.
Yeah, of course.
There's this tool called Gigapixel. It costs like $100, but it's really worth if you like doing lots of. Okay, so now this is Gigapixel. Now you see my screen.
Yeah.
So here I can choose like this is the original image. And now I can choose to upscale it by 2, for example. And then I can see it
side by side. Oh,
and you
great.
can see it's pretty good. Even if I do by 4, let it render for a second. This is before and this is after, so it does a really good job. And you need to remember that when you blow up to these sizes, you don't eventually look at them from 30 centimeters away. So if you look at it from like a meter away, you hardly notice the pixelation. So
amazing.
It's a really good tool, better than the one you have in Photoshop, but the one in Photoshop is also nice.
But check out, like, see the details. This prompt specifically was very freeform and not non-instructive on the aesthetics. It was just an emotional description of a person looking to far away or something, thinking about his life. And the only thing I think I said in the prompt was it's an album cover. So, but it gave it like a paper texture and like a cutout aesthetic, and that's crazy. I think that's crazy. That's the crazy and impressive part of it. But on the other hand, if you see the color palette is very, very typical for Midjourney. Those reds and greens, if you don't give him specific color instructions, it will probably blot out these colors.
Yeah, definitely. It has a distinct style that they decided is good, and obviously they're kind of right because it's super popular. And if you don't tell it otherwise, it sticks to a certain style, which personally I have to say, I feel sick of it, because the internet is so flooded with perfect images that I'm like on purpose trying to create ugly things,
Stuff, I like when it turns out like 8 fingers. I love those. I really love those.
Okay, can you tell about, you said in the beginning that you're developing AI tools for music production?
Yeah, not for the production itself, but for the management side. It's more like I use ChatGPT when releasing a new music or doing any kind of music endeavor that you want to do. There are a lot of tasks and items and things that you need to do. And one thing I found ChatGPT is really, really good at is organizing information and generating a to-do list. So I'm trying to create something that makes like a 60-day plan for like a single release or a music show release, and it includes all the preparation, the pre-production, the production, the post-production, the budgeting, the social posts, the general outline. So when a musician needs to start working on promoting his music, he doesn't have to think much, or sometimes you can't pay for expensive, PR and stuff like that. So sometimes you just need a to-do list, and because you don't know what to do. So that's one of the things. And the other thing is a persona generator for marketing purposes, for all for musicians, but also for anyone who wants to do their own marketing and get to their target audience better. Because and that's amazing. I had ChatGPT user fans, user
רגע, עמית,
personas. First
תחזור
of all,
בבקשה על המשפט, כי היית מקוטע קצת, אתה קצת מקוטע.
איפה
I asked ChatGPT.
Oh, so I asked ChatGPT to generate some user personas for me for music fans, people who actively seek out to discover new music. So the fun fact is that most of them are graphic designers, by what ChatGPT thinks, or marketing people. But the amazing thing is that I took out the user persona, and then I put it into Midjourney to generate the image of the user, and it generated photo accurate, super realistic people. Looks like the name. They were Israeli, so they really looked Israeli. The girls more, the boys, they tend to make them more Arab looking, or Middle Eastern, Middle Eastern. But the women really looked the part. You can totally fake a user profile with it, and that's really helpful for someone wants to understand who their target audience, who they're talking to, and then with that you can generate good copy and advertising for those target audience. And musicians and generally creative people are really bad marketers most of the time. They're bad at understanding that they have a target audience and who is that and how they should talk to him. And they really see only their art inside, and I know because I'm there. And sometimes you just need to get out of the box and understand on some tool that will help you crack that part of music, the music industry, the marketing part. But you can take that tool and use it for any type of market or audience you want to reach out. I'm still working on making it create repetitive content, so like not repetitive but consistent. So the format, the way that it describes the people should be the same every time, and that's still an issue. Even if you play with with the ratio of creativity that you put in the prompt, it still does not give repeated results every time, even if you tell them specific instructions.
Yeah.
So that's still a work in progress, but I'm going to make it available for musicians in the next couple of days, even in this stage, so they can start playing with it and see if it really helps them to generate like better Facebook ads. Or yeah.
Cool, amazing. So first of all, make sure to send me links for everything we talked about here, so we can,
Yeah, of course.
even to your song, if you want to share it.
Yeah, of course.
And so I saw this. I will share my screen. I have something to show you and to ask you about the tool you are building. So I saw this. This tool, which is a mid-journey prompt generator. Did you see it?
Yeah,
It's
I
really
saw it.
amazing, and it relates to what you are talking. And what I wanted to ask you is, do you also intend to build a UX for it, like, or is it? I mean, how is it going to be wrapped? You know?
Yeah. So I have two thoughts right now. The first is to wrap it in a bot, in kind of a bot. Telegram bot, or maybe that's I don't know. I never got into programming this code, but I programmed that Telegram bot once, and it's pretty straightforward and not so very complicated. And that's the easiest way to make it happen, because it's chat based like you would expect, but it would be less instructive. So I would really prefer the user have a set of options to choose for, and to make the output more reliable and consistent. I would need to frame to have some variables not be so variable in the tool. But I think first stage would be a chat based bot. And the next would be like a full UX UI, just for the time it takes to do either. I've also tried to do some design for user interfaces, and in Midjourney, I saw people do it with great results. I wasn't able to produce something that's really, significantly good or better than anything that I saw in prepared templates, or doable, because some of them are just really nice looking but not really doable in the real world.
Yeah, I think you still can't do it like 100% inside these tools. You eventually do need to go into Figma or Photoshop or whatever to, like, for example, text is not baked,
Yeah.
like, it's producing gibberish text. So
Yeah.
And even if it was producing right text, there would be issues with fonts, and can you use it, can you not use it? So it's there are still lots of things to resolve there. But for example, if you are building a landing page and you need an image for it, so for this it's perfect. You can create really good elements, like.
If you need an element, if you need some kind of specific image. That's not stock footage, and you would see it probably in many other sites after you use it. So I like the fact that it's original. It's originally yours. To some extent, the how much yours is it is a really big debate right now.
It's I think we're in a good timing, which is super temporary, that now there are no laws. You can do whatever you want, but soon enough, again, I was talking to Jonathan Doe, and he said that he sees that eventually the big companies like Apple and they will take over it, and then they will charge you a subscription fee, and like any other, like Artlist, like motion array, Shutterstock,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah. They already have, like, there are paid tools, generative art, and other. There are generative copywriting. I used a paid it's a service called Writer. It's dedicated for content writing, and it's based on the GPT-3 model. And it's very fine-tuned to specific that need. So yeah, I think that we already see, like, ChatGPT starting to charge money because the resources, nobody thinks about it, but I see it from my other hat as a cloud infrastructure expert, and I see that the demand and the resources needed to provide this demand is not something that's feasible right now in the world, because I read somewhere that for every 16 words that ChatGPT produces, it needs 8 A100 GPU cards.
Yeah,
8.
A1000, no?
A100. Yeah.
Okay.
8.
Wow.
To generate 16 words. The cost per word, it's not really.
So it's like the new Bitcoin mining infrastructure.
Exactly.
Again, we are ruining the world with our hallucinations.
Exactly. That's the only thing that bothers me. I see heat maps when people, when they say that, it's overloaded with requests. I see some data center about to explode with heat.
But it's weird because I just heard recently that the hole in the ozone is starting to close. So either we are doing something right, or maybe we are overstating the damage that these things do,
Yeah. Well, specifically on that matter, I think the reduced production in China for the last 2-3 years is the main contributor to the ozone closing, because I think it's the main contributor to the whole. And since production in general worldwide went down, and the consumption, and a lot of people died, unfortunately, more than we know. I think that's the main thing but that's a whole other topic.
It's interesting. I think you have a point there. But I wanted to say about, first of all, I'm already paying for OpenAI for their ChatGPT, because I can't stand those moments where it's offline. I'm already addicted. But it's super cheap. It's like 0.000 cents for every question you ask, or for every command you give it. So it's not. I don't know I mean. Eventually, even Mid-Journey, I think they're losing money. They're not profitable. I heard they have like a really interesting talk every Wednesday. They're their founder. It's called the Office Hours. He's talking to. It's like it's like a cult. He's going online, and then you see on Discord the number of participants rising, like from 100 to 1,500. It's like everybody is coming to the session with the guru. And he's a really nice guy, and he said that is like, if you're using the fast mode, like not the relaxed mode, they're losing money on you.
They're losing money, yeah.
Yeah, so all of these tools are currently, they're it's like in a sort of proof of concept state that they're making all of the world. They give you the first hit of heroin for free, and then when you're hooked, you're going to pay.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think we're going to pay. It's going to be expensive because, as you said, it's Like for example, I'm using Stable Diffusion locally because I don't want to. I used to pay for Google Colab, which is like $50
Yeah,
a month, and then I said, "Fuck it!" I just bought like a really nice graphics card, which costs about $1,000, and then use it offline locally. I don't need to pay nobody. I don't need to
yeah.
wait for rush hours to go buy whatever. It's really nice.
Have you been able to make money off of it? Sorry if it's too direct.
I'm starting to like I did consulting for a company that needed like they had problems generating images that are not cropped and that have interesting figures in them, etc. So I gave them like a few prompts and told them like how to use negative prompts, how to avoid stuff from how to force the machine to do whatever sort or whatever you intend to. And I also like signed up to Fiverr now, but I see that like already there are like 1,000+ creators in AI. So what
Yeah,
are the
right. I
chances,
saw
you
that
know?
yesterday. I saw that yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah,
I will create amazing AI artwork for you.
yeah. I'm
It was
trying,
really
I'm
funny.
shooting in every direction. I really
Yeah.
see a huge future into it. Just yesterday, I saw somebody showing on YouTube. I think this can also interest you. How you can ask ChatGPT to build a course script for you, and then you can teach it on Udemy. You know, you don't even have to know anything about it. You just
Yeah. But
so
yeah, the one thing that I've learned about ChatGPT that it bullshits confidently. I
yeah.
have fact checked a lot of the stuff written there,
Mhm.
especially on niche stuff
Mhm.
or not so, because I think the model is trained on Wikipedia, so everything on Wikipedia
Mhm.
is supposed to be there, and not everything on Wikipedia is correct. So
Yeah.
that's a starting point. But when he doesn't know, he just makes up,
Yeah.
and he can make up facts that sound really, really convincing. The same goes for code. Okay, the way that I built the tools that I discussed about was using ChatGPT to
Mhm.
build Python code
Mhm.
to start off with something. 99.9 of the times the code did not work or did not produce the expected result, and then you go back to ChatGPT and you tell them, hey, look, the code is, oh, I'm sorry. It's like
Yeah.
working with a really, really unexperienced programmer
Yeah.
that doesn't know his left from right. So without knowing how to debug the code on your own and doing stuff,
Mhm.
that's one part. But on the other hand, I now have my own ChatGPT that's working directly with the GPT model and not through the interface, and I'm not at the mercies of rush hours because I don't want to pay
Yes.
them
Yeah.
that much money, like $50 a month or something.
Mhm.
So now I have a script that generates whatever I want, and also ChatGPT. I don't know if you got to work with it, but it got really protective of artists and designers, because
Mm.
if you tell him, give me 10 graphic designs, blah, 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 he would say, I'm sorry, I'm not a professional graphic designer. You should contact a professional graphic designer to do this kind of work. But here's one example, which is pretty bad.
Mhm.
But if you take the same prompt and you give it straight to the
Me
GPT
too.
model,
Oh, okay.
it doesn't have any ethics problem, and it produces everything immediately, and probably a bit better and a bit more creatively than what the ChatGPT does.
Mhm.
Uh, it still has more blocks in the ChatGPT than the GPT model itself. Uh,
But what is this GPT model? Like, where did you get it from?
The OpenAI, you can either subscribe to ChatGPT and talk to the chat, or you can use the API
Ah, I see.
of,
You're using
of,
the
of
API.
the GPT model itself.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's the same thing without the chat wrapper.
Like the playground, you mean?
Yeah, it's like the playground. It's
I
like
see.
the playground, but I have an API token and I use it directly. I don't need the UI,
I
or
see.
I use Google Colab, the free version,
Mm-hmm.
and it's enough because I generate texts and it
Yeah.
doesn't need a lot of
Yeah.
horsepower.
Cool. Yeah, it's also with stable diffusion that it has no censorship, you know, you can do whatever. I mean, it's I sometimes leave it open, and you know, I'm afraid that my kid, my teenager kid that is a gamer and uses my computer as well, I'm afraid of I mean, luckily he
Whatever.
doesn't show much interest in it, but you know, it can be a really destructive tool if you want
Yeah,
to. But it's nice that it's not, in a sense, if you're responsible, it's nice that it has no censorship, because then you can take it also to nice directions that are blocked.
yeah,
Like Midjourney is super
super
ethical, you
restrictive.
know, sometimes it's
Yeah,
too much.
yeah. You can't even write the word blood. You
Yeah,
can have a
yeah,
blood, like even if you wanted to use it in an artistic and not
yeah,
in
yeah.
a non-violent way,
Yeah,
you
but
need to
then you can
find,
always bypass it with a red liquid or
yeah,
whatever.
red
It's a
liquid. Yeah, of
red
course.
gooey liquid. It's the same, you know.
Yeah,
This is something I keep telling people. Like I keep, I'm like a preacher for this technology, you know. And sometimes, like most people are not like us. They're not so tech savvy, or maybe they don't even know what this thing is. So sometimes I show it to friends, and they're enthusiastic. But then when they approach it and want to write something, even if their English is super good, you see that sometimes people have a block with their with the way they phrase stuff. So this, I think, I mean, when I look into the future of stuff, the way you express yourself is a serious advantage over other people that don't know how to, like, if they reach a block, like for example, you cannot write blood. Most people will leave it, you know. But then if you learn the bypasses, you have a real good advantage, you know. Uh,
yeah. Someone told me yesterday something really. I think we talked about that exactly this thing that ChatGPT takes programmers' jobs. In the future, there will be less programmers, and so I said, yeah, but there will be a new kind of profession, which will be prompt engineering. That's the buzzword right now, prompt engineer.
mhm.
That's a profession. And he said, yeah, but that's life science. It's, you need to be describing emotions and words, and not think about algorithms and computer science.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's really true, because a prompt engineer is someone who has a vast knowledge of different kind of aesthetics and culture, and can express these in a very detailed and creative way.
Yeah,
Uh, that's the meaning. Uh, you have to know Dali to write Dali in the
yeah,
prompt.
definitely.
Yeah, you have to know who Picasso is. You have to know other stuff, so you can write them down. You can't. So even if you write some stupid prompt and it looks like Dali, you won't even know that's Dali. And I think that's what people are mostly afraid of, that it take the story behind the artists,
Mm.
because the art can be generated, but there are cave paintings from 1,000 years ago and they suck. But the thing that's interesting behind them is the story. What brought the person to draw that cow on that wall inside the cave,
Mm-hmm.
and not that the cow looks really nice,
Yeah.
right? Um,
Yeah, it's super. Sometimes I stop and like it's a super philosophical. It's super
Yeah.
technological, but and at the same time, it's super philosophical and has like a million of ethical questions of like. Like for example, the art history, it's nice because people suddenly, if you are really into like creating stuff that's not just, even if you're just into stealing from like putting in your prompt names of artists, eventually it exposes you to these artists that otherwise you wouldn't have even know. Like who knows who Greg Rutkowski is?
Yeah.
Even I that I'm interested in art, I didn't know like
And
many
now you
artists that now.
see prompts with his art everywhere,
Yeah, and now
with his style.
now you're like curious to know, hey, who's this guy, and you are like exposed to many new worlds. It's amazing in a way, but in the other way, he's pissed that that people mention his
Of
name all the
course.
time. Yeah, so it's
I think that you said something really important. I think that the best use of the generative AI in general is for educational purposes because you can either learn like reverse engineer stuff. For example, I made a design for a T-shirt, and the design has only text on it, and it was made to be in a Harper's Bazaar style art direction, like from the 30s to 50s.
hmm
Okay, so it's kind of green, has kind of a lot of text blocks. Really looks really good, but you can't use it as is. Uh, and if I had to create it on my own, like the layout, it would have taken me ages. But by reverse engineering it, I took the finished output and started laying vectors on top of it with the same shapes and colors and everything, and change it more because now I can edit it and edit the shapes and edit everything. And and now I know how to do a text layout for a Harper's Bazaar style text. I will take this knowledge that I've learned and I can use it in my next design even without using the prompt, the Mid
yeah.
Journey or whatever.
hmm
Uh, so and you can learn coding and whatever you want from it. It's a really amazing educational tool.
Yeah, but don't you think that like this is the stage we are now? But imagine it in 10 years, you wouldn't have to learn anything. You would just, I mean, eventually you wouldn't even have to type. I imagine it is like you would have some kind of a chip embedded in your neck or whatever, or electrodes, or like a VR headset that you will just think something and you'll have it perfectly made. I mean, what will be the
Area.
value of the skill in like 10, 15 years? The value of a graphic designer, the value of a coder, the value of a, I don't want to say a musician because music is pure art. Graphic design is useful art, but I don't know. We live in interesting times. We need to
It's a
wait and
very
see.
interesting time. Uh, any artist combines stills. You know the book. There's this famous book called "Still Like an Artist" by um, Austin Kleon.
No, I
Really,
don't.
really good book. I suggest you read it. I am a big David Bowie fan, and David Bowie is the biggest thief in the music and art history. Everything that you saw that he did was borrowed in some way from other images or things that interested him. He just he's in his own words, he's a collector. He collects stuff and then he brings them for you to see.
hmm
Do you know the famous hunky dory image of the cover? You see David Bowie close up on his face. He's holding his long hair like this, something like that. That's one. It's an exact replication of Lauren Bacall image, or Marlon Dietrich. I
Mm-hmm.
don't remember. A glam movie star. Exactly, one to one. If you know that's the source, great, wonderful. If you don't know, you see it as new art and exciting, and it excites you.
Yeah.
But he had to know. We always come back to the person that knows what kind of emotion he wants to put through. And so even if you steal like an artist. You steal in a way that is not pure copying. It's taking something and making it
Yeah, it's an
your own,
inspiration. Mm-hmm.
an inspiration.
Yeah.
And just so generative AI is the same on steroids. It just has a lot more references to draw upon, and I don't think it's stealing like the artist that yeah, if someone does the exact same imagery as there's this Japanese animated manga films that I really see that style. I forgot the name of the production company, but there's like a real famous manga films, Japanese manga films, that you can see that everyone's doing Star Wars as
Mm-hmm.
that style. Well, it's just novelty art. It's not serious art. It won't be hanged in a museum somewhere because it has no value. No, has no artistic value. It has aesthetic value. Has an entertainment value.
Mm-hmm.
Has everything. It's like pop music and jazz or whatever. It's pop music has an entertainment value, has an aesthetic value. It has even has a cultural value, but it doesn't have an intellectual value. It's not purposed that way. It's not purposed to make you feel bad or obsessed or fear as entertainment's only supposed to make you feel entertained.
Yeah.
Uh, I think that's the core thing. It's an art form if you use it as an art form, and it's an entertainment if you use it in entertainment. It doesn't steal anything from anyone. I believe that they will put more blocks on reproducing exact images, like when you take Van Gogh's Starry Night and you add more to it. It's just that's bad taste. Okay, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's that's a problem because that most people don't even if they first of all I don't think they stop to think about it. They're just amazed that that how easy it is to like produce something and then call it their own. And
do you call it your own? I can't call it my own. I think if someone says, "Wow, it's really beautiful," I say, "Thank you," but the machine did it. I
yeah,
didn't make it beautiful.
I
Uh,
think it's a transitional phase. I mean, now I don't call it my own, but I still like put it on my Instagram channel, and
yeah, of course.
I don't. I really try to not reference real artists. I just uploaded a video, a short to YouTube that suggests that you reference the art, not the artist. You know, like you can, if you, for example, you say a beautiful woman, Andy Warhol style, you can just as well say a beautiful woman pop art style, and then you're not stealing from Andy Warhol because Andy Warhol did not invent pop art. Maybe he was a pioneer, but it's not entirely his own. And if you say pop art, then Mid Journey or Stable Diffusion or whatever, it takes from a wider cloud of references, you know?
Yeah.
So when I do this, I don't see it as my. I mean, I'm not like I don't intend to sell this out or whatever, but I feel more comfortable when I'm not like purely stealing from like. It's not. It's not. What's the point in referencing like a ton of artists and eventually coming up with something that is obviously you see where it came from, you know?
Yeah. Well, I tried. Referencing the art form, the art style, and not the artist.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get like if you say pop art, then you get Roy Lichtenstein type of pop art, which is more like the comic. That's from the test that I did.
Yeah.
And if you add the specific artists, then you would get an aesthetic more close to that artist,
Yeah.
but not. Uh, it never like I tried. I did a lot of. I'm really big Andy Warhol fan for that matter, and I tried a lot of Andy Warhol-esque prompts.
Mm-hmm.
Never it gave me something that really resembles something that Andy Warhol did, other than the obvious, two-tone aesthetic or the print screen aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but never you can't say it's an Andy Warhol better than you can say it's any other
Yeah.
pop artist for that matter. But when I combined Pablo Picasso and Andy Warhol together and told them to make a drawing of a cop and a priest, it turned out crazy,
Yeah.
crazy beautiful because you have the Picasso aesthetics of the broken images, but the vibrant colors of pop art, and it made something really unique. You could not have done it otherwise.
Yeah,
And
but if you would write like a cop and a priest, pop art and I don't know, contemporary oil painting or whatever, wouldn't you still?
totally different,
No,
totally different
different. But
result.
I'm asking if they won't be also crazy, interesting, and good because yeah, it's
When an artist is inspired by another artist, is inspired by the artist by maybe specific painting, but most of the time they try to steal the technique. They want to understand how he
mhm.
got that black, how he got
Yeah,
those perfect circles, whatever. So they try to imitate it, and by the imitation, you get innovation. That's the first step
yeah,
to innovation. It's imitation. We start off as blank pages, as babies, and then we start imitating. We imitate the sounds, the images we see,
yeah,
and we innovate when we try to walk the other way. Like you know the path, and you try to walk to another
hmm,
place.
or to
So or
mix
to mix,
paths. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Cool. So maybe we'll end with like how do you see the future for, or how would you like to see the future for like the stuff you're into or the stuff you would want to be into? How do you see the future? Like how do you see AI uh, implemented in the music industry, in design industry, and how would you like it to be implemented?
Well, I think first of all, I see that there's no way back right now from where we're at. Like the AI is for a fact starting to take significant place in every creative or any productive force.
Yeah, I think it's already taken, it's for years like this. It's just been transparent, you know. Now it's starting
Now it's
to,
out in the public, yeah,
yeah.
for sure. And but I think what I see is that it would replace menial and unimportant things that people usually complain about doing. Uh, Even artists, I think a graphic designer that really loves what he does, still, I think he would rather not do buttons design all day because it doesn't require his artistic thought for it to be a good button in a web page that sells something.
Hmm.
Uh, but I see a lot of creatives will be on top of using the AI tools to augment their work. I definitely see it as the same way as you use a plugin in your audio software or a filter in your camera camera application. It would be the same. It would be an augmentation of human capabilities, the same as every machine ever made. Factories, I don't think people should do hard labor in factories the same way I don't think they should do hard labor in graphic design sweatshops in India, right? It's the same. I think people should be able to freely make money of their creative force and give back something to the world, and leave the machinery stuff to the machines.
Yeah, definitely. So that's an optimistic.
Definitely.
I heard somewhere that the optimistic scenario is that eventually the machines will produce everything we need in order to survive. And then it's like an utopian society where you don't need to work, you will only do charity or whatever, you will only do a few hours a day for the community, and whatever, food, clothing, everything will be automatically produced, electricity, whatever, and then we'll be, walking around in white gowns all day, picking fruits from from vending machines,
I don't know if that's an utopia or a dystopia, but that's fine. Yeah, totally.
I think it's better than the machines realizing that we're only troublemakers and annihilating us, Terminator 2 style,
Yeah, totally.
Okay, Amit.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot for this conversation. It was really interesting. I could take it like 2 more hours from here, but we have other stuff to do. So thanks a lot. We'll share the links to stuff we were talking about in the comments, and we'll keep in touch, see how stuff develops.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks a lot.
Very cool. Thank you for having me, and I'm happy to be the first one. Hopefully, this is one of many more.
Yes, sure.
Good luck.
Yeah, bye-bye. Thanks.
Bye. Thanks.